Who's ready for another Scaletrains -9 video? I know I am. Alright, before we get started with the rest of this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to Scaletrains customer service. When I posted my video Wednesday of the review that I did on the -9, right after it went live, which was roughly around 10 a.m., I shot an email off to Scaletrains and asked them if they could send me the missing pieces that I needed. And later on that afternoon, Scaletrains actually commented on my video and had already got my email and informed me that the parts were already packed up and ready to ship out, and along with an email I got in return saying that my parts would be shipped out and they were ready to go. This is Saturday. They showed up Saturday morning, so what, 1, 2, 3 days. 3 days I had my missing pieces. That's pretty awesome. And as you'll see in this video as we move forward, I have the missing pieces installed and everything looks good. So with that being said, awesome customer service at Scaletrains. Thank you very much. And now let's get ready to move on to the rest of this video. Alright guys, what you're looking at is the computer monitor that I have set up on the workbench here. Sorry, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm not doing any type of screen capture or anything. This is quick, easy, and the lazy way to do it, I guess. So you'll have to bear with me. But anyways, if you remember from my review video, I had some concerns with some things that were decoder related. The horn, the bell, and I noticed the power pack didn't seem to be working, so I threw it on the program track, brought up the loc programmer. I learned some things along the way. I'm still relatively new with the loc programmer, and I'm learning as I go, and I did learn a lot while I was doing this project. So let's just open up, here's I have the original factory Scaletrains file. I had to have Scaletrains send this to me because I kind of screwed up when I was first messing with this, mainly because there's something I didn't know about. You kind of need the original file to make any type of major probably more or less sound changes. Not so much sound changes, but any type of yeah, the sound changes basically. I mean, you can still change your bell and horn and stuff like that, but what I did was I basically threw the locomotive on the track, opened it up in the loc programmer, and I made a copy of the file that was on the locomotive, or so I thought. What I noticed was right away when I went back to look where I saved it, you'll see like the size of that file, like 26,000 kilobytes. It was only like 139 kilobytes, and I noticed it and thought, you know, no big deal. There's, you know, I was, like I said, I didn't know what to look for. So I made some changes, and when I made some changes and then wrote it to the decoder, I pretty much wiped out all my sound. I had no sound, and here it's because I took that file that wasn't really a file and put it on there, so I lost what was originally on there. And I kind of read that to make certain changes and write it to the decoder from loc programmer, you need like the original file. I know I'll probably have some people commenting saying I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to explain it. That's probably my biggest problem. So I had Scaletrains send me the original file. I ended up not using it anyways. I downloaded a new one from LocSound and did my own thing, and I kind of liked the way it turned out. I mean, there's a lot of resemblance. Another thing I didn't like about the factory file from Scaletrains, it didn't have the whoop compressor sound. But anyways, I have that as a backup now. Plus, I used it to see how they had some of their settings. But the first thing I did check was I bumped up the power pack, and I did that before I screwed it up. I did bump that up to 6 seconds, and then I didn't write the sound part of it. I just wrote the data, the decoder data, and I was okay. I didn't lose the sound. It's when you do the right sound data with not the original one that you'll end up screwing things up. At least it did for me. And I only found out what I did wrong by the Facebook group, ESU Loc Sound Help or whatever. I don't know the exact name of it. And someone did the same thing I did, and I was reading their comments and figured out, you need the original file. But anyways, so, and the power pack is in there. It does work. When I bumped it up to 6 seconds, I easily got 3 to 5 seconds out of it, almost 5 seconds. But anyways, what I did was, let's close this. I decided to go with this file down here. If you go to ESU's website in the download section, the version 5 decoder, North American, Australian sound files, I just searched for -944CW, and I used this one down here, file number S0772. I downloaded that up, then put it in my Loc programmer, and what I did was I did change some of the things from what Scaletrains had. I now have my ditch lights on one function, number boards on their own function, walkway lighting on their own function, and I can turn them off and on individually. When I first put this on, speed step 1, the locomotive would no longer move. I had to bump it to 2 to get it to move. So basically what I did, I used Scaletrains' original file, and I just looked at how they had their motor settings and their speed curve. This here is my new file that I created off of ESU's website, and this is the identical speed curve that they had on it from the factory. So I saw what Scaletrains did, and I changed all these to whatever Scaletrains had, and boom, it runs just like it did when I had it in my review video. Nice, smooth, slow, moves on speed step 1, really great. Until I start speed matching all my locomotives, which who knows when that'll be. This will get changed, of course, but right now I just wanted it to act the same way it acted in my review video, and now that does. I also changed the horn and the bell, and function mapping. Let's go over here. This thing's being slow. Now I have my number boards on function 5, walkway lights on function 7, and function 6 is still the ditch lights. So I can control all of them individually now. And I'll give you a demonstration after I'm done with the boring part here. But I just wanted to let you know, I kind of learned some things along the way. There is so much you can do with this Loc programmer. It's unreal. I mean, especially you go down in the sound settings, sound slot, and I mean, you got all your sound slots. A lot of this I haven't even kind of messed with because I don't know. A lot of it's Greek to me, but thank God most of it's pre-programmed. And really, all you would have to do really is mess with the section under here under decoder, and then all these subsections. You know, your function outputs. That's where you can go and change. See, okay, there's my number boards. You can name it whatever you want. Change all this. You can make it whatever you want here. Ditch light, strobe light, whatever. I just have it as a dimmable headlight, and that works fine. The brightness all the way up. LED, your ditch lights. You got your grade crossing, LED mode, and then one of them, if you're a Norfolk Southern guy, one of them, you would want to have the alternate phase checked, so that way it oscillates with the horn when you have the grade crossing checked also. So I mean, some of it's kind of like Decoder Pro if you ever mess with it. That kind of stuff there is pretty much the same. But this is the function mapping. I mean, there's plenty of videos on the Loc Programmer. What I wanted to get to is that I have a completely new file in here. It's not the Scaletrains file anymore. And I actually adjusted some of the things, the horn, the bell, to the prototype sound, and the power pack works, and it sounds great and it runs great. Alright, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about here. If you have any questions or what I said didn't make sense, I'll either try to answer them or point you in the right direction, or hey, maybe I said something that's not correct and you can correct me a little bit. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to this, but I do know definitely have the large size original file for things whenever you write the sound to the decoder, or you will not have it. So there you go, guys. And if you do end up screwing up your Scaletrains file that's in there and you want it back, just shoot Scaletrains an email. They'll email you back the file. That's what I did, and I have it right here, just in case I ever wanted that again. So they're pretty cool about that too. I got to give them a big kudos for that. They did that. I sent them an email at about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning last night, and in a half hour they emailed me back. I didn't even get it till today because I went to bed. I'm not sure who was up at 1:30 in the morning, but they emailed me the file that quick. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. And let's check out this locomotive closer. Alright guys, I threw this on the turntable here. I just wanted to show you all the things that I fixed visually, and then I'll let you listen to the new sound file and everything there. I got you off the tripod just so I can move this a little easier. The first thing you'll notice is I have the new step on. That was one of the things missing. Let's move this back here. If you remember, the brake piping there was missing. Got a new one of those glued on. The safety chain, the second piece, or the e-brake chain, was missing. They sent me that. It's up here. So now that is on. The handrail that I think I probably did it. I broke it off right here. I glued that. I did some things up front. When I was doing the step, I noticed that the plow was actually on just ever so slightly crooked. And most people wouldn't have picked up on it. Me being a picky person, I did. So I popped it loose on from the pilot. I ovaled out the hole on the one side, re-glued it back on so it's level. I also, remember in my video I said these front handrails were kind of leaning in towards the cab. What I did was use my soldering iron and I heated up right here on this elbow, and while it was heated, while it was warm, I bent them out right there at the elbow, right in here. Warmed that up and bent the railings out a little bit. And I also noticed they were leaning in because the tread that they put on the walkway is actually just a very thin piece of plastic, and it was actually separating from up here by the anti-climber and leaning back. So I used some Tamiya extra thin cement. That stuff's real nice, you know, it kind of wicks right into a crack, So I place it right along the front of the anti-climber and pushed down on that and kind of secured it down. That brought the railings, the ditch lights, everything out front and level like they should be. I didn't notice that before I started working on this thing. So now the front hand railings are a lot nicer. So those are the things that I did while I was working on this. And she is perfect. Very nice looking locomotive. Yes, I had to do some odds and ends. But most people will tell you if you're a modeler, well, you should be able to fix some things. But they were minor things. If I received this with some major things, or sent it back for repair and got it back and it was broken and again and again and again, then yes, I would have had some issues. But some of these were very minor issues, and some of them were just things I decided to do on my own that I wanted to do. So that's it. She's ready to rock and roll. Let's get it on the track. Alright, let's fire this thing up with the new sound file, and you will notice for the ones that picked up on it that the whoop compressor is back and ready to go. And you'll notice, or if you remember in my review video, I said I thought I heard some distortion in the speaker. It was more of like a static sound. So I actually lowered the volume a little bit while I was programming this, and that went completely away. It's still plenty loud. And to be honest with you, if you're doing operations on a layout, especially with multiple locomotives running, you don't want it to be loud and overbearing anyways. That's my opinion, but it's plenty loud enough to hear. Let's check the lighting is the same, except I moved the functions. The headlight's still the headlight, of course. F6 is the ditch lights. F5 is now the number board. And F7 is the walkway lighting. And it probably isn't showing up. Well, it's there. And if you look at the back, same thing. You should be able to see the walkway lighting a little better if I flash it on and off. See that? That's now function 7. And that's it. It now has a K5 LAR 24 horn, and that's exactly the casting that's on this locomotive. So that should be the horn for this locomotive. And it has a Graham White E-bell now. So we'll listen to that. So that should now be correct. I know a lot of them come with a P5 horn in the prototype, but looking at the casting of this horn, it does not appear to be a P5. So that's why I have the K5 LAR 24 on there. And again, it still has that nice, slow, smooth drive. Bump that up to speed step 1. Love that sound, love that slow speed. Bump that up to 2. keep going. This is one sweet ass locomotive. To say that I'm happy with this is an understatement. One last thing to check, just so I prove it to you that it works. I did find out the problem with my power pack was not the power pack. For some reason my 5 amp booster for the power cab, when I'm running with the 5 amp booster, the power pack doesn't work. If I just have it running off the power cab by itself, it works. How's that for some power pack? Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. Just wanted to show you some of the improvements and fixes that I did with this. And man, it turned out great. I love this thing. And if you have any questions, or maybe this gives you some ideas, you know, that you could do something with yours if you have any of these issues or concerns. But if you have any questions, shoot me a message on in the comments, and I'll see if I can help you out. Alright, take care.